Welcome to DZPD season 2, episode 5?
Yeah.
Should I do my...
They're gonna start doing your questioning voice again, like you did last week. Nice,
hmm
nice. You are
Episode
correct. It is in
5.
fact episode 5.
Yes. Yeah, and so tonight's build we're going to talk about, you can see right there on my glove.
Ooh, fancies.
BTSU gloves. Yeah, BTSU gloves. So, I got those.
Oh, but wait. And you are, and I am. Yeah, I
Oh,
know who
yeah,
you
yeah.
are. You're Dapper
We
Man,
know who
but
you are.
beyond that,
We
you do
know
know
who
who I
you
am.
are. You're Negan Killjoy,
I am in fact Negan Killjoy, and you are in fact Burt
the one
Reynolds.
and
Last time I
only.
checked.
I
Oh,
am.
that's right.
You are the one, Negan Killjoy, Golden Voice Gaming.
Yes,
I
there you go.
am Burt
And you're Dapper
Reynolds.
Man. You're Dapper Dan, Burt Reynolds.
Dapper Dan, Burt Reynolds, a cowboy in the game. Still
Yeah,
cowboyed
you're
up.
Cowboy in game. Yeah,
Um,
that's right. I'm going on an expedition.
with
That's what
my
I'm doing this week.
with my face mask. Yeah, and my
Get some
BTSU
kids in it.
gloves.
Yes,
Which
BTSU gloves.
yeah, I got these a while back. There was a day when gloves were the targeted loot. I think it was gloves were the targeted loot on Jefferson, or is it Jefferson Hotel? What's the hotel? The hotel mission. And
George Washington.
we George Washington Hotel. We farmed that a little bit, and I got them, and then I promptly threw them in the stash and totally forgot about them, and pulled them out this week and started building the build around them. Just because
What made you pull them out?
they get a lot of.
Anything particular? Or just
No. I needed something to talk about this week. So I,
fair enough. Fair enough.
there's the honest answer. Yeah, so I pulled them out this week, so I'm going to take you through that build, and we'll go show you what it looks like. I also am going to call out, today actually happens to be like the best day for farming ever. We've got Araldi, we've got gear set pieces. This is the killer right here. The best zone in the game has Alp Summit, because there's, count them, 4 control points to take over. So yeah, that's a big win for farming,
control
and
points. Yeah, you get them up to 4 each.
Yeah.
You get 2 bosses. Bosses are guaranteed drop targeted loot.
Yep. Yeah, chest always has at least 1 piece, and a bunch of other enemies will drop some too, and that's a good zone to have for something like Alp Summit. So yeah, good day for farming high rolls on gear.
Right.
Anyway, we'll go do a little of that in a little bit.
So I gotta ask, what are you drinking tonight?
I'm again drinking LaCroix. This time, lemon.
Oh, lemon.
What are you
Gotcha.
drinking tonight?
Tonight it is actually a beer from Deschutes Brewing out of Portland, Oregon. Or excuse me.
I know
excuse me,
Deschutes.
Bend, Oregon. And it's actually called Deschutes. It's one of their pilsners they have. So
Yes, I'm familiar with it. They actually sell that here, Negan.
do they really? Nice.
And
They're out and about.
Yeah, we get their Black Butte Porter
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. And
Yep,
I
that's
get
a good
they have a coal stout, which is like the blackest, thickest stout I think I've ever seen. We get that every once in a while too.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
it's one of our favorites, as a matter of fact. So I was just curious. I saw you take the drink. I was just curious. But you're doing La Croix.
LaCroix.
You know what it's really
And my trusty, ginormous bottle of water. Yeah.
There you go. All right, there we go. So sorry, got us sidetracked. Anyway, so build BTSU
Nothing
gloves.
fun. Not drinking anything fun tonight. Yeah. So this build, right? The gloves are the centerpiece of this build, obviously, and it's it's truly a skill build, right? Unlike a lot of the other builds that I usually put together, where I'm trying to get all the skill power and skill build stuff, but I'm still trying to keep my weapon damage up. This is truly a skill build. Now, that's not to say I don't have weapon damage. I do. Um, I got weapon damage on there. I got decent DTE, 49% there. I got the weapon damage roll on my chest piece. But you're not going to have any weapon damage on your gloves because you have 3 talents. Yes, 3 talents. None of which have anything to do with weapon damage, and then you got 2 mod slots, and they're both 3. I'm sorry, 3 mod slots, 2 electronics and a defense. So nothing weapon related there either. So yeah, I'm just gonna read these to you because they're pretty interesting. And it affects the way you play. It took me a little while to get used to it. So, elemental gadgetry. Skills that apply status effects gain 50% status effect duration and 50% skill haste. Right. So that's...
They come back faster.
Yes. Whenever you apply a status effect, your gloves become infused with that effect for 60 seconds. While infused, you gain 10% skill damage, 10% skill healing and repair, and 10% skill duration for each yellow attribute you have. So you can see I've got 10. So 100% skill damage, 100% skill healing, and 100% skill duration. Applying the same status effect while infused does not refresh the infusion. Good to know. Interesting. And then this is the real key one right here. Charge proxies whenever you throw a skill, so throwable skills, right? So balls, the hive, the little winder drone, those are throwable skills, right? So whenever you throw a skill, 1.25 seconds after landing, it creates an explosion. Applying the infused status effect to all enemies in the explosion. Enemies infected take 50% more damage from your skills, so from additional skills. So it's basically a seesaw with skills, right? You're supposed to throw things back and forth, and that's, once infused, you're doing a bunch of skill damage. So truly a skill build, and we've been talking about that since, there's not really those skill builds like there were in Div 1, but this really is. And in this particular case, I guess what's really important here is actually the skills I'm running. I'm running cluster mines, which don't apply any kind of status effect. And then I have to be applying a status effect in order to get the infusion. So in this particular case, I am running Stinger Hive, which applies the bleed effect. As you can see right there in the middle screen, you're able to look at each one of these skills and tell if it'll have a box. See, like that one says applies burn status effect. So it tells, like this applies the bleed. The hive, you got some healing ones, you got Stinger, which applies the bleed. Pretty limited, if I'm honest. That applies burn. That applies ensnare. That applies nothing. Firefly's got, I think, just one. Blind. Seeker Mines, I could run a Seeker Mine that applies the burn status effect, but this thing sucks to throw out. I hate throwing it. This thing's cool, applies the bleed, but it's very single target focused. Massive damage. Single target.
Now you showed a couple of, you talked about the burn status. Didn't we mentioned a couple of times now the burn status isn't necessarily the best status effect to go for? Because it's hard to proc or it's hard to... There was something we were talking about.
It's hard. It's yeah, we did cover that. So the turret doesn't stick around very long anymore, and everybody but the heavies focus on it. They take it out pretty easily. Its range isn't very long either. So, I think if you were farming like a mission over and over and over again and you knew where the spawn points were, you'd probably use it to decent effect for applying that. In this particular case on the build, it would not trigger my on the ropes. The turret does not go on cooldown until it's gone. So it would affect on the ropes, but I mean, that's not the end of the world. I don't have to run on the ropes. I could totally and completely run a different backpack Maybe one that has tech support on it instead, right? That gives you extra skill damage. If I really wanted to be skill focused, that'd probably be what I'd do. And yeah, so I mean that's not the end of the world. However, in the big open world, people just avoid your flame turret. And in unpredictable situations like taking tier 4 CPs, again, they just avoid your turret. So it's somewhat limited in its effect. I have run this with the fire canisters, but the problem is things like at best, I loaded the thing up with mods for the burn duration and burn strength. And the most I've gotten it up to is a burn duration of 9 seconds. Which, considering you have to throw a bunch of the shells out there from the canister and then light them all on fire, by the time that's all done, the first guy you set on fire is no longer on fire anymore. Now, does it proc the... It definitely procs the infusion thing with the gloves, but it's not a particularly effective thing. It would be great only because then you could run the Pyromaniac assault rifle.
Right. Right. All right. Yeah. Makes sense.
But you'll see when we take this out in the wild why I use the Stinger, because the Stinger is nasty. Like, really nasty. From the gun perspective, I could, in theory, run a gun that has run this FAMAS, which has Sadist on it, which deal 30% weapon damage to bleeding enemies. After 3 kills, applies the bleed to the next enemy hit. 30% is still nothing to sneeze at, right? That's still strong. It's not the 40% of the Pyromaniac, but man, it's pretty strong. The thing is, though, this Perfect Optimist works out to be about 50% additional damage across the magazine in total. So that's really strong too, right? So just for the consistency's sake, I decided to run this. So, and I'm running Sadist on my SMG. I don't have to run an SMG. I could run an LMG. It's not like I have Sokolov pieces in here. I like my SMGs currently. So I'm running that. I'm getting, this is to bolster my explosive damage. So I have China Light with Destructive on it. So grand total here, I think I'm getting 50% explosive damage just off the mask alone, which is strong. And again, I'm running on the ropes. I could run perfect on the ropes. I could run all kinds of stuff right here, but I am running on the ropes hard hitting for my additional DTE. See here, this backpack's great because it's got 2 blues, 2 yellows, and a red. Nice breakdown, and that's part of why I'm doing that. I do have an Alps Summit chest piece. In order to, want 2 pieces of Alps for the skill haste and skill power. I don't really need the hive skill power because, as you can see down there in the right-hand corner, I'm already at 3,000, which is cap. So I don't need a third piece of it. But yeah, weapon damage, tons of skill power there. I am, again, focusing on Seeker, Mine, and Hive mods. I'm running a Fenris holster with Devastate for the additional weapon damage. Again, I have a bunch of options here, right? I could run Reassigned in order to end up with special ammo in my pistol. But I'd be copping out of some halfway decent weapon damage that I kind of like getting for free. And then finally, I'm running Patience on the knees so that I have a means of healing myself. Because again, I'm not going to have any kind of really way to heal here. That said, you play this build pretty far back, and when you see it in action, you'll see I don't often come into a spot where I really need a heal all that much. Just because, again, I just get in cover and then just start throwing out skills and shooting stuff. And so yeah, very strong. questions, Negan Killjoy?
So you talked about on the ropes in your backpack, and you said you mentioned two different ways you could run on the ropes. So you said it doesn't impact what you're doing that much, or
It's
what else
15%
could you
weapon
run?
damage
15%
when skills
weapon
are on
damage.
cooldown.
And that's why
You
you're
know,
gonna
if I
run into
look at
turret.
my beautiful stash here, then I've got a couple percussive maintenances. Um, weapon damage, skill haste. I got one with skill power and skill haste. Yeah, perfect
So
tech
what is
support,
perfect?
right? Kills by active skills. Yeah, you were just gonna ask, right?
I was
What
going
is
to
it?
ask what
Yeah,
perfect tech support
it's
does. What? What? Wait a minute. The words. You can read them. Go for it.
yeah, it's kills by active skills and explosions grant 30% skill damage for 10 seconds. And this literally has the same talents on it. Perfect. Well, hardened. You know, like the backpack I'm wearing has hardened on it. I think maybe. Nope, hard hitting. I think I have no vital. So I'd lose out on hard hitting by running that, I guess. But that's not to say I wouldn't do that. I could, or I could just run hardened. But yeah,
Now,
tech support, man.
is it actually as strong as it sounds? Because I mean, you're running and it says only for 10 seconds. Are you actually bringing stuff back every 10 seconds? Is it to where you're actually using it? Or it sounds like it almost wouldn't, just reading it doesn't sound like it'd be very effective for you.
Oh, I'd have almost 100% uptime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it would be strong. And the funny thing about the percussive maintenance is it's like, at least recently, it's like always for sale. So I don't even have to like go farm it. No, those ones I farmed, right? I got them out in the wild, but you can see right here, it's currently for sale at our vendor.
Nice.
Not a great roll because it's got insulated on it, but whatever, go buy that. Um,
Right.
it's totally intended for this build. If you want additional skill damage, like if you decided, hey, I just really want to push my Pokeballs to the maximum, I want them to hit for millions of damage every time. That would probably be the way to go. You know me, I don't like to not have. I like to shoot things, right? So I'm not going to go that route. But yeah, totally have options there. If I wanted to push more into the weapon side of things, might not be the smartest from the BTSU glove perspective, but I totally could push a bunch of reds and then throw something with spike on or spark. It's just I need 6 more reds, so I'd have to find those somewhere. Um, but it's totally reasonable. I could do it, you know.
And
Yeah.
it also sounds like this build, you said that we haven't done or we haven't done a full skill build because it seems the last few builds you've talked about with skills has been, you don't have to make the hard decision. You can have good weapon damage and you have decent skills. This wasn't a hard decision, but you did kind of decide to trade off a little bit of weapon damage so your skills because you have the BTSU gloves. Is that kind of what you had to do a little bit?
Yeah, I mean the BTSU gloves are a trade, right? Like because they don't have weapon damage on them, you are going to take a hit. Now I'm doing everything I possibly can in my power to make up for it, and you'll see I still throw a ton of weapon damage out. Like it's not an issue. And I think we were in the range with this builder this week, and I was putting up like 1.3 million with guns. So
Mm-hmm.
again, I'm not making a huge trade, but it is a trade. I've got my compensated build. I run a build very similar to this, but instead I'm running compensated gloves. Um, and I've got 3 red attributes and compensated, and that build does 80% of the skill damage that this does. Um, but it does it with no compromise on weapon damage at all. I mean, I'm putting out the
Right.
same weapon damage that somebody with a gun build is putting out. Now, that said, there's one big difference. This benefits the group immensely because everybody puts on perfectly wicked gloves, meaning they're getting 30% weapon damage against status affected enemies. Man, this thing churns out a ton of status effects, right? So you throw gun on with sadist on it, at least one. Just having one of these in your 4-man party going through a heroic mission basically means stuff's going to be bleeding everywhere, and you could take advantage of that, right? So that's
Absolutely.
the big difference. Because if I ran the other, you don't get that advantage. You're going to get the bleed on a couple guys from the hive, right? Like it's not like there's not going to be people affected by the status effect, but not the same number of people affected by the status effect, and not for nearly as long. I mean, these guys are running around bleeding for 15 seconds. Somebody can't get a hold of shooting them in that time. Something's wrong.
There's been some drinking
strong.
involved at that point if somebody can't hit them in that kind of time. You're right, definitely.
Right.
Aim's a little off, potato aim, all that good stuff. And in the conversation as you're talking about this stuff, the trade-off and deciding on BTSU's gloves goes to what we've mentioned now with TU6 in general, is the build diversity is definitely there now. There's a lot of ways you can build with different pieces and all the gloves and stuff like you talked about, using the Perfectly Wicked, which is the firm handshakes, and being able to decide, okay, am I helping my team? Is it only going to be 2 of us running? What kinds of things are trade-offs or things can we do to help those out as well? So it definitely makes sense.
Right.
It's definitely there's definitely diversity out there.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It is definitely cool, and I'm really enjoying this build. You'll see it. So, actually, why don't we just go down south to our favorite area here real quick, and I'll show you
field test.
Quickly show you what it looks like, and there is a bit of an order to it, right? Like you're going to want to CC the enemies first. The other thing about it that's really entertaining, Negan, and kind of funny, right? Like you don't have the CC doesn't have to be applied by another skill. The CC that infuses the gloves could be anything. So like what's the first faction that you come up against? Never remember their names. Not outcasts, they're the hyenas.
The hyenas.
The hyena runners, right? If you hit their side pack, they get disoriented. That is super funny if you can infuse the gloves with that, because then basically you can just throw around that infusion, right? And it's super funny. So I'm actually just going to let this guy shoot at me for a second so I can show you how the gloves work now. So they're infused. You can see that little bottle icon wearing down at the bottom here. And it's going to be a jerk. Huh? So you'll see when I put this here, he's going to get that circle and boom, there's the explosion before even the Pokeball explosion. And yeah, so that's how that works. Ooh, and I kind of wanted those knee pads off. Anyway, that's how that works.
So explain the rhythm again. Explain how you run it. I mean, obviously you run it. You said you run it a little bit behind, but explain the rhythm that you kind of have to get into to make it work really well.
I'll show you over here on these guys. So the rhythm's going to start with whatever skill is applying the status effect, or if you think you have the opportunity to like shoot somebody and get a status effect, or if you happen to have special ammo in your gun. So you can see now I've applied the status effect. Now you can see the gloves gotten.
But you were talking about how effective the hive was. There you go. That's pretty effective.
Well, here's the coolest thing about the hive, right? I can pick it up, which is awesome. That's a brilliant move, if I'm honest.
You want to go play on the checkpoint real fast? Show it off a little bit more on the checkpoint? It's only 1, but it might give you a chance to get into the rhythm a little bit.
Yeah, or which checkpoint are we looking at here? This one?
The fuel depot?
Yeah. Let's start working it up. We can at least show maybe in one of the things. Not that I'm necessarily looking for Sokolov pieces, but yeah, I'll show you how it works. We should be able to at least make it a quick 3.
There you go. See what happens.
again, throw the hive out. They're
Just for
infused.
demonstration, this is when we're running this type of the fire team with what you have. This is where I would play. I'd play it more up front, mostly because I have the berserk. But I'm not playing too hard. I'm letting you do most of the damage. Here, I'll hit this for you. Since we're showing off your build, I'll hit this.
So the other cool thing is, like, if you think you know where the guys are going to come from, now there's only a couple places guys can come from here, right? The hive is a very AoE setup, right? Like, I think that might be the part of it I like best. Like, there's this one, it's actually one of these events. It's down in Foggy Bottom, and if you play it right, you can actually, before you even go over to start it, you can put the Stinger Hive down um, right by a manhole cover, and the manhole cover is where the enemies come out of for the whole event. And at no point do you even have to fire a bullet. It's kind of funny.
Very similar to what happened right there.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. A little something there going on. I got it. Or you got it. Fine, you do it. You do it all, man. I'm just watching. Just along for the ride. There we go. It's up to 2.
So again, kind of fun with that, and if you are able to get a rhythm. So that's I guess the other reason I would say the fire turret to me is just not as valuable, because man, this thing churns out a lot of damage by comparison to the fire turret with not a lot of mods. Oof.
Use those patience. That was a turret. Your favorite. Turrets.
Yeah. Managed to survive it despite the fact that I'm pretty squishy. I mean, I'm only, at least for me, I feel squishy. I'm only 260,000 armor, which feels squishy to me. I'm used to like 300 plus, but.
And what health are you running? What's your health running?
55?
Yeah, I got a pair. Firm handshakes. Boop, boop. Another pair.
Oh, that's nice. What do they got on them?
I was just looking. Firm handshakes. Where are they? They are shotgun damage. Oh, that's not good for Negan's. Shotgun, rifle, skill power. Negan says that out loud because Negan's got pretty good armor though. 24k armor. Better than the other pair I have.
That's strong from an armor perspective, but
yeah, it is. Yeah, the damage is where I'd be missing out on stuff. That's all right. I'll get through. I'll work with my therapist on dealing with that role.
well, you could save them for when you go into the DZ, right? Shotguns are strong
that's
there.
True. That's true. With a perfect pummel. Perfect pummel still a thing in DZ?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the meta or whatever they run in the DZ?
Yeah, I think so. So on the note of Eclipse Fuel Depot, I'm gonna go around the back side and try and get a high ground if I can.
Okay. High ground's always a plus when taking stuff out. Salute, man. There's a part of me that wants to fire off the allies right now just to see how close you get to it. Oh, you're already up there.
Go ahead and call them in.
Yep, calling him in right now.
So now I'm gonna pick up my hive. when it gets to a few more charges, I'm going to put it out in the middle there. Oh, goodbye, all you people.
And because I'm wearing Wicked gloves, I don't think I'm wearing Perfectly Wicked, I will take advantage of the bleed status on that one. And put that status effect with Wicked on top of my Berserk where I'm missing some armor. That's some fun too on this side.
Oh, I would imagine.
So, like you were saying, this is really good for group play. If people put on the right gloves, and the synergy that can happen within the group is a good thing as well. Whoa.
Yep, it is strong.
There was a bad guy over there somewhere.
There was. But, you know, I didn't feel like it was a good idea.
Some destructive, yeah.
I didn't feel that his presence was necessary any longer. I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. I think he was about to say bad things about our mothers or sisters, so yeah, it's a good thing you took him out.
Yeah. Very annoying. Very annoying chap, that one. He not very respectful.
Hello,
Now, that guy in the back with the grenade launcher needs to knock it off. Leave Negan alone.
That's all I was waiting for. Comes Big Man again. Oh, he's a shield guy too. This shield guys are perfect for your stuff.
They are, except for they're not going to get there.
So checkpoint, proximate 2, level 3 checkpoint, and most of that work was done by you with your build. I got a couple status effects that I took advantage of, that I could take advantage of, but as you can see with your build, it was the synergy you have with your build and the timing you have seemed to work out well for you.
Yeah, it's strong, Negan. I'm not going to lie. It's pretty strong. So, you know, and again, I'm sure just the build diversity around the different ways you could handle a BTSU build, they're probably exceptional, right? I could definitely my Pokeballs are hitting anywhere from 600,000-700,000 up to just shy of 1 million. But I've seen videos where guys are hitting 2 million with their Pokeballs, right? So, like, I'd definitely be pushing a lot more skill power damage, although albeit I don't think I could have better mods than I have. But I could stack explosive damage in my gear mods if I wanted. Certainly could be running tech support, perfect tech support, or something like that, and that would definitely help. But I really, again, I kind of like where it's at. I'm feeling pretty good about where it's at, so haven't really felt the need to try and push up harder on any of that. And I feel like that would require a lot more procs to happen to get to to make it really worthwhile, right? Like, a lot would have to happen each time.
Right.
This feels very steady, and I can still defend myself with a gun when I need to. Instead of having to hide in the corner.
All right. There you go. Nice one. So it's a fun little build.
So
you're enjoying the build.
Yeah. I am. I've been running it all week. I'm thinking, what took me so long? What took me so long to put one of these together?
That's right. Gloves just sitting in there, just begging to be used.
Sitting in my stash. I totally forgot about them. I
What was good
wanted
about
them for a long time. Then when I didn't get them, I finally gave up on them. I was like, whatever. They probably suck anyway.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That'll teach you,
And they
man.
don't.
Always look at what you get.
They don't. Don't sleep on your BTSU gloves.
Nope, definitely not.
So
Nice.
yeah.
So you want to recap it real fast?
Sure. So again, the key features the BTSU gloves. I don't know any other way to put it besides that. I am. Oh, I did not mention. I am running the specialization of demolitionist for the extra explosive damage. But I do know guys that are running the same build, and instead they're running the perfect spotter on the mask, and then they're running the gunner specialization. They're using the disrupt pulse to proc the BTSU glove, and then throw Pokeballs. Yeah, ton of different ways to do it, but that's what I'm running. I got the Perfect Optimus Shield Splinter. I've got a SMG that's running Sadist because I'm going to put a bleed on things. One piece of China Light for explosive damage with Destructive for more explosive damage. On the ropes and hard hitting. Unstoppable Force, the BTSU gloves and all their talents. Trying to apply a status effect to infuse the gloves, then throw your second skill to take advantage of that. I do have Fenris because I'm running an assault rifle and it has devastating on it, and then I've got patience on the knee pads. And again, the more yellows you can stack, the more strong those skills get, right? So, in this case, 3, 7, 10. And I'm running Stinger Hive and Cluster Mine Pokeballs. That's the build.
So there you go. Very nice. Very nice.
There you go. So with that, you get the duty of signing off for us, I believe.
I do. And as always, see ya. Oh, you missed it. You're in your menu.
How did you?
See ya.
Oh, there it is.
There we go. All right.
Nicely
all right.
done.
For real now.
Nicely
See you guys.
done.